Once upon a time, in an age when wisdom ruled stronger than weapons, there existed a great and prosperous kingdom. Its city shone under the sun, its people lived in peace, and at the heart of this land ruled a king known not for fear, but for wisdom. His name was King Vidya. But one day, a mysterious problem threatened the pride of his kingdom, a problem no strength could solve. King Vidya possessed a precious gemstone unlike any other. It had 8 smooth curves, perfectly shaped, glowing softly as if it carried a soul within. Legend said this gem was a gift from Chakra, the king of the gods himself. It symbolized divine blessing, protection, and balance. The gemstone was held together by an ancient thread, woven long ago by masters whose knowledge had been lost to time. For years, the gem remained whole, until time began to take its toll. As the years passed, the ancient thread began to decay. It grew weak, brittle, and rotten. Slowly, cracks appeared. The gemstone broke in 8 places, each fracture following the curve of its design. The old thread was still trapped deep inside, impossible to remove. The king summoned the best experts, craftsmen, scholars, and jewelers from across the land. They tried cutting, they tried pulling, they tried force, tools, and clever hands. But every attempt failed. The gem could not be opened. The thread could not be replaced. Concerned, yet calm, King Vidya made a decision. He sent word to the villagers of Yava Medum, a humble village known for patience and honesty. The king's message was simple. Remove the old thread from this gemstone and replace it with a new one. The villagers accepted the task with respect and determination. Day after day, the villagers tried. They handled the gemstone with care. They studied it from every angle. But the thread was deep inside, unreachable. The gemstone would not open. Their hands grew tired, their faces filled with worry. Finally, they admitted the truth. They could not solve the problem. Feeling helpless, they remembered a man known throughout the land for his wisdom, the great sage Mahaushadha. The villagers traveled into the forest, where the sage lived in a simple hermitage. Mahaushadha listened quietly as they explained everything. Then he smiled, a calm, knowing smile. He said only this, "Don't worry, bring me some honey." The villagers were confused, but hopeful. They quickly returned with fresh honey. The sage gently took the gemstone. He placed a few drops of honey into the tiny holes along its cracks. Then, he took a thin cotton thread, dipped one end in honey, and carefully laid it near an anthill close by. The villagers watched in silence. Moments later, the ants emerged. Attracted by the sweet smell, they followed the honey trail, straight into the gemstone. Inside, the ants began to eat the old, rotten thread. As they moved through the gem, they pulled the new cotton thread along with them, slowly, carefully, perfectly. When the ants exited the other side, the new thread had passed through. The old thread was gone. The sage examined the gemstone and nodded. The task was complete. He handed the restored gemstone back to the villagers and said, "Now give this to the king." The villagers bowed deeply, filled with gratitude and amazement. When the gemstone was returned to King Vidya, he listened to the story in silence. Then, he laughed softly, not in pride, but in admiration. The gemstone was whole once again, not by strength, not by force, but by wisdom and understanding of nature. The king praised Sage Mahaushadha and rewarded the villagers. From that day on, the story spread across the land. And so, the kingdom learned a powerful lesson. True intelligence does not fight problems. It understands them. Sometimes, the smallest creature and the simplest ideas can solve the greatest challenges. The end.